What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another video, and we back again. Day to day, we back again. And today we're about to do a reaction to the meaning of all of these holidays that a lot of us celebrate on a year-to-year basis. And you know, this might come to a shock to a lot of people that they've been celebrating a lot of pagan holidays, and maybe it's time to reconsider. Now let's get into it.
Every single holiday that we celebrate is celebrating one of the 7 deadly sins.
One thing I want to add to what he just said about the 7 deadly sins is I'm a Christian. Obviously, I'm a believer in Christ. As probably, you know, most of you probably can tell by now. The 7 deadly sins is more on the Catholic side. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't sins that God just does not tolerate, obviously, even though sin is sin for the most part. But the 7 deadly sins kind of falls more within like the Catholic belief, even though the Catholic belief and the Christian belief are almost similar. There are a decent amount of differences, but I just want to make that known so people don't confuse the two. Like the 7 deadly sins, you'll most likely never hear it ever talked about in a Christian church, but you'll hear it talked about a lot in a Catholic church. Okay, let's keep going.
Christmas, what do you think that is?
Christmas. Greed?
Greed, overconsumption, and excess.
Okay.
Right? We're celebrating gifts. We're not really even celebrating
Christ,
like the birth of Christ, because
even though technically Christ wasn't even born on Christmas. But let's keep going.
people are so focused on the gifts and shit. Valentine's Day represents lust for obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons, yeah.
Thanksgiving, that celebrates the sin of gluttony.
Gluttony, yep. Just consuming a big amount of food over, you know, a short period of time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the day where people finally get to truly have their cheat day. You know what I mean? Like, you finally get to have your cheat day on Thanksgiving Day because you can eat a big amount of food that day.
Yeah, because you're
Eating a lot. You're overeating. You're taking too much more than you need.
Yeah.
Now, Easter.
I don't know.
This one gets deep.
And this one technically is about Christ's resurrection, but we always focus on like the Easter eggs and you know, people like going Easter hunting and, you know what I mean, and like the bunny and stuff like that, but not Christ. Like they use these holidays to push their agenda and to cover the truths of what needs to be said and what needs to be known. Like, a lot of people know that Easter falls on the day of the resurrection of Christ, regardless of you not being religious or not. A lot of people have heard this throughout their life, know this to be true, but they tend to lean towards the pagan celebration of it and not the belief aspect of it. See what I'm saying? And also for Christmas, like, Christ was not born on Christmas Day. From what I remember hearing, I heard Christ was born in October. And what do they celebrate in October? Halloween, one of the most evilest traditional pagan celebrations. If you guys don't know, Halloween technically started off with people who used to do, they still do these things, but like sacrifices to their quote-unquote gods for a good harvest at the end of October. And what's the following celebration the next month? Yes, you guessed it, Thanksgiving. It just happened. So they do these things for a good harvest the following month. Look into this. It's called Samhain. Technically, it's not even called Halloween. That's just the cover-up name that they came up with. But all of this stuff stems from evil roots. And these are people who are worshiping Satan. Whether they know it or not, they are. Now let's get back to it. For real. Think about it. Let's keep going.
Okay.
So they say it's envy because the Romans were jealous of Jesus, so they murdered him.
Oh,
It's crazy.
shit.
So St. Patrick's Day, it's sloth. Because people get blacked out drunk.
and just lazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Now Halloween is what? It's wrath.
Okay.
So scaring and hurting people for fun. With masks, it's wrath. So every single one of the holidays is like a seven deadly sin.
And it's so crazy because it's like all of this is described to the T in detail, but people will shrug it off, not care to even pay attention to the fact that this is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's sad because most times it'd be believers too. Say they're a believer of Christ, but then they follow the world and not Christ. So it's sad to see, man. It's sad to see. Now I know obviously like we're all stuck within this loop of us constantly celebrating a lot of these holidays. It's kind of hard to withdraw yourself from it, especially when you got a lot of your peers, family members celebrating it. I understand these things, but over a period of time you got to come to the realization that you can't follow the crowd all the time. You can't follow the crowd every day of your life. You have to, at some point throughout life, stand on your ground, make your own decisions, and be your own person. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Like for example, like when I'm at work and people were asking me like, you celebrate Halloween? I told them no, I don't. I grew up in a family that didn't celebrate it. My mom didn't let me watch Harry Potter movies, all these like scary movies and stuff like that, and like witchcraft type of like movies, like, you know what I'm saying, like the ones that they used to show on like Disney Channel and stuff like that. Like I couldn't watch any of those movies. I did eventually watch some of them growing up, but I didn't care to like really indulge in them at all. Like, yeah, I might have seen some of them on my own accord, but for example, majority of the things that my mom tried to keep me from, that foundation that was built, helped me to shrug off those movies and that way of life, because I was already in that mindset of not wanting to do it because I didn't want to upset my mom or get in trouble for it. So that right there, it set me up, you know what I mean? Like to where like when I have kids, my kids aren't celebrating Halloween. Like, yeah, I know, you know, children are rebellious. I've even went to like, you know, Halloween parties when I was a little younger with friends, but that's because that was the little rebellion in me, you know, trying to be like a rebellious young boy doing stupid stuff that I shouldn't be doing. But as I grew older, you know what I'm saying, I'm glad that, you know, over a period of time, I fully came to understand why my mom was keeping me from that, you know, from the dark evil side of it, as well as just the belief, you know what I mean, that she instilled in me at a young age, me and my family, you know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for my mother, I'm grateful for God, for, you know, constantly just being there and even awakening me inside, because like it's one thing for your parents to try to instill something in you. It's one thing for your parents to try to like build foundations and have you be a certain way growing up as a young individual, but then it's also God, because of the fact that like I could have shrugged off everything my mom told me or taught me and lived my own way, but I still followed the path that was set because of the foundation that was set in the relationship with God that I had as well as a young man. And yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in.
So you don't like technically it's like it's bad to celebrate those holidays.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I appreciate you guys so much. And I just got more bangers for you guys coming, man. I'm not gonna let up. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep dropping and keep awakening the soul in the mind, man. That is my job. That's what God put me on the earth to do, and I shall do my task for the Lord, and I hope the rest of you do the same. I love you guys. So does Jesus. And I'll see you next video. I'm gone.